Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 169 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Welcome. Here's what's coming up in today's show. In our Noteworthy segment, Sage Regenerative Kitchen and Brewery, a Los Angeles-based restaurant formerly known as Sage Vegan Bistro, announced its closure after 14 years in operation.
And in our main topic, we announced this year's slogan, Finding Our Drive in 25. And we explore ways that we can continue to advocate for veganism in 2025.
But before we get into all of that, we were contacted by follower John Kerry about a wonderful member of the Los Angeles vegan community who lost everything in the LA fires. Owner of the Oh Happy Days Vegan Cafe, John Hopkins lost his restaurant, his house, his car, and all of his belongings, including all of his recipes in the Los Angeles fires.
John is a cherished member of the vegan community, donating his food and time to Food Not Bombs. His cafe offered affordable meals, and anyone could get a full meal for $10.
There's a GoFundMe to help John Hopkins get back on his feet, and we'll link to that GoFundMe. If you want to donate, just click on that link and donate if you can.
And a big thank you to John Kerry for reaching out to us about this. We're always glad to help such a generous member of the tribe.
And on a side note, John Kerry is a vegan author, and his most recent book, which he has sent to us, is called Plant-Based Regenerative Nutrition, How to Prevent and Reverse Common Chronic and Degenerative Illness. It's available for purchase everywhere that you buy books.
And so we'll put a link to that as well.
Yeah. Thanks for sending us that information, John. We're more than happy to get the word out about Mr. Hopkins' loss.
Absolutely.
It's terrible. Now, on to what we've been up to. This weekend, we co-hosted a vegan trivia night with the fine folks of the Syracuse Vegan Living Program.
We sure did. This event was hosted at Aurora's Cafe and Gifts in Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
And it was a rocking good time, I have to say.
We had such a good time. Aurora's is a really cute little space.
Oh my gosh, adorable.
Yeah. Great food, great baked goods.
Yep.
Plenty of really good drinks and smoothies.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a pretty good turnout. We had plenty of teams, and I think people had a good time.
Yeah, I think so too. It was funny because at least one of the participants, possibly more, initially thought that the trivia was going to be based on the podcast.
Right.
Which I think is awesome and hysterical at the same time.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I wouldn't be able to do podcast trivia.
Right.
Like if it was in what episode did Sam do a bad Yoda impression?
Right.
Like I have no idea what episode that was.
Yeah.
I know it happened, but
Yeah.
wow.
I think it would be really presumptuous of us to do
Incredibly
a vegan trivia
presumptuous
based on the podcast.
Yeah, really would.
But it is funny that a couple of people thought that that's what it might have been.
Yeah.
And one of them said, I guess I better start listening more. And I'm like, well, yeah, you should. But the trivia is not about the podcast.
Nope, not at all.
It was general vegan trivia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Some light fare, some heavy fare. I think it was a good mixture of hard questions and not so hard questions.
It was.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, I think we might want to, because I found round 1 to be significantly harder.
That's what you said.
Than rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So I think we might want to, spread the truly hard questions out a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could tweak it.
Yeah, we can tweak it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But we had such a great time.
We really did.
Want to thank everybody at Aurora's Cafe and Gifts and all the fine folks at the Syracuse Vegan Living Program, because they do so many great things for the vegan community there.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And that program is awesome. They have like mentors, and then they mentor people that are interested in becoming vegan, and they have all kinds of activities. They have cooking classes. They
do a food kitchen.
They do a food kitchen. They go on field trips to Farm Sanctuary.
Yep.
And it's a fabulous organization, and they have a really great community up there in Syracuse. So thank you so much for inviting us.
Yep. We always love heading to that neck of the woods.
We do. Another fun thing that we did, our friends, the Capellos, always graciously put us up.
And we are so grateful.
In their home when we drive up there, because us two old ladies, we don't like to drive at night.
It's true.
So it's really nice to have a place, to to crash overnight. And we had such a good time playing old retro Mario games.
It was so, like, I haven't seen games played on an original NES in decades.
I know. I'm like, everything is
8-bit.
well, it's 8-bit, but while we're playing, I'm like, everything is familiar and yet feels like I've never seen it before at the same time.
Yeah, but I tell you, watching you and Quillen was just a lot of fun.
We had a really great time playing. And then we switched from the NES to
A Wii U.
to a Wii U game, which was one of the Mario Brothers iterations. I don't even know
It was
which
Mario
one.
Brothers 3D.
Mario Brothers 3D. And we're playing as a team, and at one point during the game, Quillen says, I have to carry you during this part for your own safety. And I'm like, okay. So he carries me, and then he proceeds to sacrifice me to this giant piranha plant.
Yes.
And I'm like, did you just sacrifice me to the piranha plant? He's like, yeah, I had to. I no longer trust you as a teammate. It was hysterical.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had a good time, and just sitting around talking and stuff. It was really nice of them to put us up, and we always have a good time when we're up there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And of course, on Sunday morning, we got up and we had to visit two of our favorite spots in Syracuse.
Yeah, we can't go to Syracuse and not visit some of our favorite places.
That's right. So first things first, we made a stop at Sweet Praxis, which is an absolutely incredible bakery in downtown Syracuse. And we picked up some lovely baked goods to bring home. Now, they are not a fully vegan establishment, but they do have a tremendous number of vegan options, both among their baked goods and on their brunch menu, which we have right here.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of picked out a selection of things to bring home. Now, as we're pulling up to the bakery and finding a parking spot, Christine is admonishing me.
I didn't admonish you.
You most certainly did.
I warned you.
You said, now don't go crazy.
We always
I know they make amazing stuff.
We always end up with way too many baked goods.
Don't go crazy. There's only so many baked goods we can eat. And then we go in and I start ordering the necessities, which to me are largely croissants.
Yeah, their croissants are pretty fantastic.
Anything made with puff pastry, because whoever makes the puff pastry at Sweet Praxis, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're really good.
The lamination is just incredible. And for it to be a vegan puff pastry is really amazing. That's not an easy task.
Yeah.
So I'm ordering croissants, and then all of a sudden, Christine's pointing out things that I probably wouldn't have picked. But then she's like, oh, but we have to get this too. And we have to get this too. And we have to get this too. But of course, it's my fault when we end up with too many baked goods.
I know. This is all true.
Yes.
I'm not denying.
You can deny nothing.
I'm not denying any of it.
Yes. And so we have tried a few of the things that we got. I did have my butter croissant from Sweet Praxis this morning.
Yeah.
And it was, of course, stellar. Like I said, whoever does their puff pastry is a genius.
Yeah.
Just a genius.
Yeah. I had one of the brownies. It was really good. Yeah. I mean, they have an amazing amount of baked goods.
Yes.
And an amazing amount of vegan baked goods.
Yes. So we still have some chocolate croissants and chocolate almond croissants to try. And we have a cranberry and walnut Danish. We've got some donuts. We've got some scones. We've got all kinds of things.
It's insane. It's insane.
It is.
And then on top of that, we picked up baked goods at Aurora's when we were there the night before.
Well, of course.
And we got cookies, these cherry pie cinnamon rolls.
Which we have not tried yet. I'm thinking that's breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is the cherry pie cinnamon rolls.
What else did we get? We got
seriously?
like 2 or 3 different kinds of cookies.
We did. And then
Scones?
the peach fritters.
Oh, the fritters, yeah, which are good. I tried part of one of them because they're huge, so I tried part of one of them.
They are excellent, yes. And of the cookies so far, I've tried 2. The lemon crinkle cookie in particular is fabulous.
I haven't tried that yet. I had a chocolate chip and it was really good.
Just a little bit of a crusty outside, but super chewy, punch you in the face, lemon flavor.
Gotta have that.
It was delightful, absolutely delightful. So highly recommend there. And so after we left Sweet Praxis with a rather large box of baked goods, we headed straight over to the one, the only Nice Biscuit.
Gotta go to Nice Biscuit.
Gotta go to Nice Biscuit.
We, sometimes we think, oh, maybe we'll go someplace else, but
maybe we'll have brunch at Sweet Praxis.
Yeah.
Because they have a substantial brunch menu.
Yeah.
That we would love to try.
But we can't tear ourselves away from Nice Biscuit.
We really can't.
Their breakfast sandwiches are so good.
They are.
And I always get the Rambler, and Sam always gets the
Trailblazer.
The Trailblazer. And they're just, we just sit in the car and eat them and go, oh my God, this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for those of you who don't know Nice Biscuit, these are incredible, like absolutely ginormous vegan buttermilk biscuits.
Yeah, fluffy too.
So fluffy, so perfectly textured. And then, of course, they, fill them with all kinds of wondrous things. So the Trailblazer, which is my favorite, is a just egg fold, and then it's got some of their house-made vegan sausage patty. They put cheese on it, and my cheese of choice is pepper jack.
Right.
And then they toss on, if you are so inclined, some fried jalapenos, and I am indeed so inclined. And then you pick a sauce, and I always go for the dang sauce, which is
so good.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's just a spicy mayo, but it's really good.
It's so good. So for me, the Trailblazer is spicy on spicy on spicy between the sausage, the cheese, the jalapenos, and the dang sauce.
I know.
And it's amazing.
Wow.
It is so decadent and so good.
Yeah, I'm kind of a purist. I go for the Rambler, which is a vegan bacon, egg, and cheese. On the biscuit. They use Thrilling Foods bacon and they pile it on. And then I'm pretty sure it's just egg.
Yep.
And then a vegan, I think it's a vegan cheddar slice. And always with the dang sauce. Gotta get the
dang sauce.
And it's just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, seriously, it was, probably Thursday night, I think, last Thursday night. And I'm like, we get to have Nice Biscuit on Sunday. Like skip past Friday and the drive to Syracuse on Saturday and the actual event and seeing friends and all of that. No, we get to have Nice Biscuit on Sunday.
Yeah. And it's so funny because they always recognize us when they're like, oh, hey, you passing through? I'm like, yeah, passing through again. Which is really sweet of them.
It really is. But we love them so, so much.
Yeah. They're great people and they make really good food.
Yes.
Really good food.
Yes,
so if you're ever in Syracuse, don't miss that. It's so good.
Now, before we move on to our recipe of the week, we want to remind you that there is still time to vote for us and all of your vegan favorites in the 2025 Veg News Veggie Awards.
Yeah.
For those of you who may not yet be aware, the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast has been nominated in the Best Podcast category for the 2025 Veg News Veggie Awards. We are super excited.
So excited.
Yeah, just absolutely floored.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody that's reached out already and said that you voted.
Yes.
If you haven't voted, please vote.
Yeah.
We'll put a link for you to vote in the show notes of the episode.
Vote, tell your friends to vote. And actually, we got some really great feedback from some of the folks in Syracuse who said, yeah, we went to vote for you. And you know what? Voting for the whole Veggie Awards was really fun. And they learned about products that they didn't know existed and, kind of put things on their list as things to try.
Yeah, it is
Which is
fun.
really great.
Because it's extensive. There's 40 categories?
40 categories, yeah.
So it's extensive between food and health and beauty products and podcasts and stores and stuff like that.
YouTubers.
Don't forget to also vote for our friends over there at the vegan grocery store
in North Tonawanda,
New York.
That's right.
If you're so inclined.
And we'll put a link for you to vote in the show notes.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. My apologies.
So that brings us to
the recipe of the week.
The recipe of the week. We have a recipe this week. This week's recipe is butternut squash and carrot soup.
Soup.
Yeah, Sam insisted that when we got home from Syracuse, not insisted.
I didn't insist.
Requested.
Yes.
That when we got home from Syracuse, that I make us a soup because I gotten Wegmans sells this organic rosemary bread, olive oil bread, and it's really good. And she's like, "Oh, what did you buy this for?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I buy the bread and then I decide what I'm going to, make with it." And so she said, we should make a soup. And I'm like, you're right. We should make a soup. And I've had this butternut squash and carrot soup recipe in my queue of recipes that I've been wanting to make since before Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that you haven't gotten to it. You got sick twice, and yes.
And then the holidays.
And then I left. And so makes sense that we haven't gotten to it.
Yeah. So this particular recipe comes from a food blog called plantu.com. And you can make it too. I'm going to link to the recipe in the show notes. It's a super easy and quick recipe to make because you do everything on a sheet tray. So you cut the butternut squash in half, and then you cut 3 medium-sized tomatoes in half. Then you put 2 large carrots cut into chunks, a whole head of garlic with the top cut off, and 1 onion halved and cut into large chunks.
Okay.
You put all that on a cookie sheet with some parchment, little salt, little pepper, no oil, and you bake it at 400 for 40 minutes. Then you let that cool. You add that to 2 cups of your favorite vegetable broth or the broth of your choice that you make. And I think that's it. Oh, and then she said you can add ginger if you want. So I added a pretty large knob of ginger.
Oh, well, because ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut up, and then you just put all that into the blender or food processor and process it until it's smooth, and that's it.
And there you go.
Bob's your uncle. And then
oh my gosh!
Then
the return of Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, then just heat it up, and then you garnish it with a little bit of coconut milk,
toasted pumpkin seeds,
and I put toasted pumpkin seeds on it. I added some nutmeg and some I always have trouble saying that.
You do. Ras El Hanout.
Ras El Hanout, which we were just talking about last week.
True.
And that's what it struck me. I'm like, ooh, this would be a good thing to use Ras El Hanout in. And so I added a little bit of that. And it turned out really good.
It was absolutely outstanding. Yeah. And this is one of my favorite food times of year, actually, outside of like the middle of summer when everything is just fresh and raw. Right now is probably my second favorite, where everything is roasted and warm. Yeah,
root vegetables and stuff. I think this is my favorite time of year to cook because it's cool and I'm not, feel like you're like getting overheated while you're cooking.
Yep, absolutely. But this was a beautiful soup. It was creamy and satisfying and warming. It was perfect for bread dunking without question. Yeah, absolutely perfect. So highly recommend. It was a really, really beautiful soup.
Yeah, so like I said, I'll put a link to the recipe in the show notes. I would recommend if you're making this recipe for a family, double the recipe because I made it for us and it was really just enough for 2 large bowls and there's 1 little bowl left over. So double it.
Yeah.
That brings us to our Noteworthy segment. And you might remember in a past episode where we talked about Sage, what used to be Sage Vegan Bistro. And then they started serving animal products and renamed it Sage Regenerative Kitchen and Brewery. They're a Los Angeles-based restaurant. And they announced their closure after 14 years of operation.
The decision to close came after the restaurant introduced meat and dairy products to its previously vegan menu in May of 2024, aiming to align with regenerative agriculture practices. This shift was met with significant backlash from the vegan community, including protests and negative reviews. Despite efforts to revitalize the business, including the owners selling their home, the restaurant could not overcome financial challenges and ceased operations on January 5th, 2025.
Yeah, and I know I saw some vegans kind of celebrating this, and I don't want to celebrate anybody having to close their business.
No, definitely not.
But I do want to point out that when Sage did this, they insisted that it was not for monetary reasons.
Right.
They insisted that it was because they discovered regenerative farming, including animal products, was better for the earth.
Right.
Which was what they were touting. And it's plain to see that it was all just a last-ditch effort to try to keep the business afloat, and it didn't work. And I'm sorry for them that their business has folded, but it's good to see that they're an example to other restaurants that this is not the way to go. You are not going to gain enough clientele by adding meat onto your menu to revitalize a failing business.
Right, exactly. I mean, this makes me think of Sean, of course, and there was a restaurateur in Buffalo who this past summer was considering, and I think did once. They have a fully vegan establishment, and once they decided to do a basically barbecue of animal products behind the restaurant. So not in the restaurant. So, ostensibly no cross-contamination with the vegan products that are produced in the restaurant.
They were having some financial issues.
They were having some financial issues and thought, doing a barbecue of chicken and ribs would be a way to combat that.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It was a failed idea.
And again, just kind of the outcry from the Buffalo vegan community, I think, was strong enough to send him off in another direction. Because although you may be thinking that adding meat would increase your clientele, if a substantial part of your clientele are in fact ethical vegans, you're just probably substituting one demographic for another. Because the ethical vegans are probably
stop coming.
Right, exactly. They're going to abandon you.
Yeah. And that kind of happened for him.
Right.
We didn't abandon Sean and Good and Evil Vegan Eats.
No.
Because they never once said that their mission was an ethical mission.
This is true.
It was always a health thing for them. I do kind of wish that if that's the reason why a restaurant is serving plant-based foods, that they would either call their restaurant plant-based or healthy or something, and not to mislead people into thinking that they might be ethical vegans.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And that's different.
Yeah.
Initially, Sage Vegan Bistro presented themselves
absolutely
as ethical vegans.
They did.
And then changed their tune.
Yeah, and that's why there was such an outcry.
Yes.
And protests.
And that makes
and
perfect
all that.
sense.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, you gotta remember who your clientele is and what their belief systems are, because you can really steer yourself wrong.
That's right. And of course, as Christine said, we do not want to celebrate the closure of Sage Regenerative Kitchen and Brewery, and we hope that the owners of Sage eventually come back with another project, something along those lines. Maybe they'll reconsider heading back in a more vegan direction. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be great.
There have been significant amount of restaurant closures in the LA area, and part of that is just because the market is very saturated there.
Sure.
And
and right now there are all kinds of other problems.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the economy the way it is right now.
And can we say wildfires?
Yeah, well, and that. It's just, we were talking about this with our friends Jacqueline and Ian, that it boggles my mind that anybody would even consider opening a restaurant in today's world.
Yeah.
It is such a hard thing to do.
Yes.
And to make successful. You're always just eking by.
Yeah.
And if you have employees, it makes it even more stressful.
Of course.
Because now you have people that their lives are dependent on your success. And it's really tough. It's really tough for all small businesses right now, but especially for restaurants. So if you do have a restaurant that you love, be sure and support them.
That's right.
Let's move on to our main topic. This week's main topic is finding our drive in 2025. Each year we try and come up with a little saying. Last year was
herbivore in 24.
Yeah, herbivore in 24. The year before that was animal free
in 2023.
Yeah. So this year it is finding our drive in 2025. And what we mean by that is finding our drive to continue to support and advocate for both veganism and animals.
Yes,
Yeah.
and not just that. I'm sure those of you who are in the United States listening are the fact that this recording day is Monday, January 20th. I'm sure that that's not lost on you. And so, I would like this idea to kind of translate to other forms of advocacy as well.
Yeah, all social justice issues.
All social justice issues.
Sure.
That's right.
Sure.
Because I think they are going to be quite a bit more front and center.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important that we stand up for what we believe is right.
That's right.
But we would also like to say Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
And
yes, we would.
We choose to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. today and ignore everything else that's going on in the world. Just for today.
I don't know if ignore is the right word, but let's just say we did not watch the proceedings.
I'm ignoring it.
Okay, you go right ahead. I'm not ignoring. I'm keeping an eye on things, but we did not watch the proceedings.
Yeah. But anyway, here are some ideas to help you strengthen your motivation and make a greater impact in all of the social justice issues that you want to fight for in 2025.
And number one is reconnect with your why. Reflect on why you became an animal advocate or what turned you vegan. Was it a documentary, a book, a personal experience? Revisiting that spark can reignite your passion, whether that's rewatching or rereading or sharing that experience with a friend.
Yeah, it is important to find your why. And if you feel like if you're a new vegan and you feel like you're struggling, returning to that why will give you the strength to continue. Number 2 on our list is to set specific goals. Break down what better looks like for you. Is it educating more people? Is it reducing more suffering or supporting systemic changes? Define the measurable steps that you can take.
It is really easy to become kind of overwhelmed by the size of the entities that the vegan community is up against.
Yeah.
And so obviously none of us individually are going to have tremendous immediate impact on the entire system. So let's figure out what we can do close to home, what we can do locally, because small changes are phenomenally valuable.
Yeah.
No matter where they happen.
This is true.
Number 3, learn and stay informed. Keep educating yourself about animal rights, environmental impacts, and advocacy strategies. Staying informed will make your message stronger. Podcasts like Our Hen House or books like The Humane Economy by Wayne Pacelle are great resources. There are so many incredible resources out there.
There really are.
Books, podcasts, websites. We have a really extensive list actually on our website.
Yeah, on the resources page of our website.
Is a really great place to start, particularly if you're a new vegan. And I know I'm always looking for new resources that come out. Yeah.
Number 4 is to join or build a community. Connect with the like-minded individuals through vegan meetings, advocacy groups, or online communities. Mutual support can keep your energy high, and that is so true. When we were at the trivia event this weekend, and actually any time that we're involved in any of the vegan communities in our area, it is energizing.
Yes, it is.
And it reaffirms your position, and it gives you hope for the future of the movement when you are able to commune with people in the space. You know what I mean?
Because it makes you feel very, very clearly that you're not alone in this.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, Christine and I live in a relatively rural area within a very small town, and we don't know of a lot of other vegans in our immediate geographic area.
We really don't.
So, you know, and I'm sure that there are some that we are just not aware of.
Sure.
But at the same time, because we feel a little bit isolated, that can become wearing over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to hang out with our Syracuse vegan community or our Rochester vegan community or our Buffalo vegan community is always a really great just kind of booster.
Yeah, it's a good booster shot.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
What's number 5?
Number 5 is focus on consistency over perfection.
And we've said this in the past.
Yes. And honestly, I feel like this is not only true in advocacy, this is true in life.
In life in general, yeah.
Yes. I say things like this to my students very, very frequently.
Yeah.
Small, consistent actions like sharing resources, participating in local protests, or advocating plant-based eating can make a huge difference over time.
Yeah.
Again, change tends to come slowly and incrementally, but if you can commit to consistent action and to consistent change, that's going to make a big difference eventually.
Yeah. Number 6 is to experiment with different outreach methods. Not all advocacy looks the same. You might resonate more with one-on-one conversations, creating content, or lobbying for policy change. Find something that is within your strength. Find your bailiwick, as an old boss of mine used to say.
Nice use of bailiwick.
Yes.
All right. All right. I feel like that should be a slow clap to standing ovation moment. Like, all right, bailiwick.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, experiment with different outreach and find the one that fits you best, that highlights your strengths and where you shine,
Yes.
right?
Yes, indeed. Number 7, take care of yourself. Advocacy, and again, life can be emotionally taxing.
Oh yeah.
Make sure that you take time for self-care so that you can sustain your efforts. I'll use an example from today. You know, we just came back from a social weekend, and my semester starts up on Wednesday. And today I have done something that I honestly can't remember the last time I did this.
It's been a while.
Essentially stayed in bed and read all day.
Yeah.
It's all I've done. And it's been the greatest thing. Just kind of relaxed my brain.
Yeah.
And I feel like just by taking the time to do that, like I'm more ready to use tomorrow as a preparatory day and to just, jump in gung-ho on Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to recharge the battery, especially if what you do or what you plan on doing involves a lot of peopling.
Yes, indeed.
Number 8 is celebrate progress. Acknowledge victories, both yours and the broader movement. There can be a lot of negativity out there, and a lot of times the negative stuff gets more press, But celebrating successes can keep you motivated. Celebrating progress in the animal advocacy space is so important. It keeps morale high, and it reminds us that change is happening.
And it certainly is.
Yeah.
It may not be front and center all the time, but there are some really big wins that we should totally celebrate.
Yeah.
So first, let's take a look at some global policy changes. Many countries are banning fur farming, animal testing for cosmetics, and intensive confinement systems, such as cages for hens or crates for pigs. For example, the European Union's commitment to phasing out caged farming by 2027 is a massive victory.
Yeah.
Obviously, we wish the United States would follow the EU in this.
Right.
And of course, we hope that comes to pass in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and we're always, liberation over welfare, but
of course,
welfare until liberation.
That's right. Absolutely. So go the EU.
Yeah, there's been lots of corporate commitments too in the past, in the recent past. Major companies are pledging to improve their animal welfare, offer more plant-based options, or stop sourcing certain animal products. And for example, fast food giants like Burger King and McDonald's are expanding their vegan menu options worldwide.
It was pretty funny. We were in Stratford upon Avon during the London trip, and one of my students went to McDonald's to grab food.
Really?
And he said it was just okay, to which I said, well, that's because all of those additives and preservatives that we use over here are illegal in the European Union. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah.
So he didn't like their food as much.
No, he didn't.
Interesting, because most people say it's better because of those ingredients not being in it.
Well, I still remember the best McDonald's I ever had, and this is long before being vegan.
Sure.
But was, I remember, in the Netherlands and in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Were the two best McDonald's experiences I ever had. But yeah, he wasn't a fan of it. But he did make sure to tell me, hey, Sam, did you know that McDonald's has a vegan option? And I'm like, oh, yeah, over here they do. It's the McPlant, right? He's like, yes, the McPlant. Have you ever had a McPlant? I'm like, no, I have not had a McPlant. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So
we don't tend to hit the fast food very often.
We avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah. What other wins can we celebrate?
We can celebrate the rise of plant-based and cultivated meat. The explosion of vegan products and cultivated or lab-grown meat is reshaping food systems. These innovations make plant-based living more accessible and mainstream. This is absolutely true because I think for a lot of people, we didn't have this particular issue, but for a lot of people, the idea of going without things that they are accustomed to having as part of their regular diet is kind of daunting. So, having products that do serve as almost one-to-one replacers for those products is huge.
Yeah, I think it's important for a lot of new vegans. It usually starts with the food. So.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. Public awareness is something to celebrate. There's a lot more public awareness now. Documentaries like The Game Changers or Seaspiracy have sparked massive shifts in how people think about animals, health, and the environment. And there's so many of these films out now that are readily available to, mainstream media. So yeah, so that is definitely something to celebrate.
And again, check out our resource page because we've got a lot of them listed there.
We do.
I'm going to take a look at that soon and do an update.
Yeah, the whole website actually needs an update. Oh, gosh,
does it ever. Yeah, we apologize for our website.
Yeah.
Number 5, legal recognition of animal rights. Some countries like Ecuador and India have begun recognizing animals as sentient beings with certain rights. This sets powerful legal precedents and bodes very, very well for what's to come.
Yeah, and here's a fantastic thing to celebrate. There is progress in the Riglin Beagle case. We've spoken in the past about this Beagle case. A judge agrees to appoint a special prosecutor in a significant development for animal welfare. A Dane County judge has ordered the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate Riglin Farms, a prominent beagle breeding facility in Blue Mounds, Wisconsin, for potential violations of animal cruelty laws.
This decision, issued on January 9th, 2025, follows compelling testimonies from former employees who detailed distressing practices at the facility. Reports included non-veterinarians performing surgeries such as cherry eye removal and vocal cord severing without anesthesia or pain relief. Additionally, over 3,000 beagles were allegedly confined in small cages without outdoor access, leading to severe physical and psychological distress. Despite previous appeals, local authorities had not pursued charges against Ridgeland Farms. The judge's ruling acknowledges probable cause for criminal activity and mandates a special prosecutor to ensure thorough investigation and potential prosecution. This action represents a pivotal moment in holding animal breeding facilities accountable and underscores the importance of enforcing animal cruelty laws to protect vulnerable animals.
And yeah, big shout out to Wayne Sung.
Always.
And a lot of the other people involved, Direct Action Everywhere, that have been fighting for the beagles at Ridgeland Farms. This is a huge win, and we're excited to see how this plays out.
Sure are.
We're going to move on to how do we celebrate all of this fantastic progress?
Because you know what? Celebrating is a good thing. Celebrate good times.
Come on. Right. Okay, we can't sing anymore. We're going to get dinged. Not just for our singing, but for copyright.
I was wondering. I was like, hey, we weren't that bad. We weren't good, but we weren't that bad.
So here are some of the ways that you can celebrate. You can host a community event. Organize a potluck, a film screening, or a discussion to celebrate recent wins and discuss what's next.
Share success stories. Spread the word about victories on social media through newsletters or blogs. Positive stories inspire others to join the movement.
Absolutely. Volunteer for a day of gratitude. Work with a local animal sanctuary or a shelter to connect with the animals you're advocating for.
Can support advocacy leaders. Celebrate the activists and organizations that are making waves in the movement. Send them thank you notes, donate, or amplify their efforts in any way that you can.
And personal reflection. Reflect on your personal contributions to the progress. Did you educate someone? Did you help someone transition to veganism or participate in a campaign? Step back and kiss yourself, because we should celebrate not only these wins, but celebrate our effectiveness in making them happen.
Step back and kiss yourself.
Yeah.
And of course, plan for the future. Use the momentum of success to set goals for what you'll tackle next, and celebrate by focusing on what's achievable.
So what do we do going forward after all of that? To be a more effective animal advocate in 2025, let's consider some strategies, okay? Stay informed. Keep up with the latest research, policies, and trends in animal welfare. Follow reputable organizations and engage with experts in the field.
Leverage social media. Use platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to spread awareness, share educational content, and support campaigns. Hashtags and viral content can reach a broad audience.
It really can.
And thank you for Christine for being the one to leverage our social media.
Yeah, we don't TikTok, which, I don't know if you're aware, but TikTok has been banned and then unbanned and banned. I don't know what's going on with TikTok, but we don't TikTok, so don't look for us there. Support legislation. Advocate for stronger animal protection laws by contacting your lawmakers. Support the relevant bills and participate in campaigns for animal rights.
Educate and engage. Organize or participate in events, workshops, or webinars to educate the public about animal rights and welfare. Personal engagement helps to build a connection and motivate others to take action.
Promote compassionate consumption. Encourage plant-based eating, cruelty-free products, and ethical consumerism. Support businesses that prioritize animal welfare.
Volunteer and donate. Offer your time to animal shelters, rescue organizations, or advocacy groups. Your involvement can make a direct impact on animals' lives. And if you don't have the time to volunteer, a monetary donation can go just as far.
Yeah. Every animal advocacy group needs money. That's just the way it is. You can collaborate with other advocates. Form alliances with other animal welfare organizations to amplify your efforts, and together you can pool resources and influence larger scale change.
Use technology for good. Utilize apps and websites that track animal cruelty cases or encourage donations to animal-related causes. Support crowdfunding for animal rescues or advocacy campaigns can make a significant impact.
You can lead by example. We all lead by example. Your personal actions, such as choosing cruelty-free products or adopting animals in need, can inspire others to follow suit.
You can support scientific research, advocate for animal-friendly research methods, and support alternative approaches to animal testing and experimentation.
Yeah, and by combining all of these strategies and adapting to new trends that are coming in 2025, you can make a meaningful and lasting difference in the lives of animals, which is what we're trying to do.
Amen to that.
I hope some of that gives you an idea on how you can increase or even find your drive in 2025 to become a more active animal advocate and advocate for veganism and an advocate for all of the social justice issues that you want to support.
Indeed.
We're going to move on to our assignment restaurant SOS.
Yes, Restaurant SOS is back. And this week we are highlighting Aurora's Cafe and Gifts in Syracuse, New York.
Yeah, but before we talk about Aurora's some more, and dive into their menu a little bit. I know we said in the past that we want to shake this up. We want to shake this part of the show up a little bit.
Yes, we do.
And we were kind of brainstorming on our way back from Syracuse on how we can do that. We had this idea that maybe, just maybe, if you send us your favorite vegan restaurant and pictures of your meal from said restaurant each month or bi-monthly,
I think it's going to be each month.
we're going to put those entries into a pool and then pick a winner. And the winner, we haven't figured out exactly how we'll do this, but we want the winner to receive a gift card to said restaurant.
Yes.
Which would mean, that we would reach out to the restaurant and find out how we can make that happen.
Yes.
But I think that might be what we're going to do.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. So every month, beginning in February.
Yeah.
Because it's really too late to start for January.
Yeah, we're going to start in February. Send us your favorite restaurant and a picture of your most recent meal there and tell us what it is.
That you love about them.
And where they are and all that jazz. And then we will shout the restaurant out, talk about what you got, talk about the rest of their menu, and then enter you into the pool for that month to receive a gift card or gift certificate or however they work it for that particular restaurant.
That's right.
So that we are directly impacting
Yes.
their bottom line.
That's right.
Okay?
That's the new plan.
Okay.
I love it.
Now let's talk about Aurora's Cafe and Gifts.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
And their extensive menu.
Aurora's Cafe and Gifts is located at 231 Northern Lights Plaza in North Syracuse, New York. They are open from 11 to 4 on Monday and Tuesday, and they are open from 10 to 5 Friday through Sunday, closed on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. And they really are just a wonderful little cafe. Lots of specialty coffees and teas. They do some fantastic smoothies. They do an all-day breakfast, which I have to admit, I was shocked that you didn't get breakfast.
I didn't flip the menu over and realize that they did an all-day breakfast before I ordered. Otherwise, I may have gotten a breakfast item, but we both got their cheesesteak.
Yes, their Philly cheesesteak.
Their seitan cheesesteak, and it was really good.
It was fantastic. The seitan was super, super tender.
Yeah.
The sauce was just delectable.
It was good. It was really saucy, too.
Really saucy.
It was messy.
Yours was really messy.
I mean, they loaded up.
Yeah.
And the bun was like lightly toasted, which I love. I love when a sub sandwich like that, the bun is toasted.
Yep. But peppers and onions, bit of vegan cheese. It really was delightful.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, filling but not overfilling.
Yeah.
I didn't feel stuffed
Yeah,
afterwards, but it was definitely satisfying.
It wasn't a humongous sandwich. It was a good bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But in addition to their all-day breakfast, they do brunch Friday through Sunday. And of course, they also have a lunch menu that ranges from wraps and sandwiches to different varieties of mac and cheese to a taco rice bowl. We didn't try it, but we saw it.
Yeah, somebody there got the taco rice bowl, and number one, it was huge.
It was.
And number two, it looked delicious.
It really, really did.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the next time we're at Aurora's, that might be the way I go.
Yeah.
Although they also have a veggie curry bowl.
Oh, yeah, that might be good, too.
So with chickpea curry, and that would be really awesome.
Yeah, what are their breakfast offerings?
Breakfast offerings. For breakfast, we have the breakfast biscuit. Okay. And so if these are all breakfast sandwiches. So some of our favorite kinds of things.
Okay.
The OG is a biscuit with just egg, impossible sausage, and a cheddar cheese.
Ooh,
there is also a gluten-free.
Sausage.
There's also a gluten-free version available.
Okay.
This is true of all of the breakfast biscuits
That
you can
get them
get a
gluten-free?
gluten-free version.
That's awesome.
Yes. Another version they have is the Gardener, which is a biscuit with just egg, roasted peppers, caramelized onions, spinach, and cheddar cheese.
Ooh.
Sounds delightful.
It does.
Yes. And then there's the Spicy Chick.
Ooh.
The Spicy Chick is a biscuit with just egg, buffalo chicken tenders, and cheddar cheese.
Wow.
And you can add to any biscuit sausage or buffalo tenders, avocado, or a buffalo cream or ranch dressing.
Wow, really interesting.
So for me, I'm thinking I would go with the Gardener because all that veg.
Yeah.
But then I would add both sausage and avocado.
Yeah. See, I would probably, the gardener sounds good. I would probably go for the straightforward first one if it was actually breakfast. But if I was having breakfast for lunch or dinner, I might get the one with the buffalo.
The spicy chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that sounds really good.
They also have a build your own breakfast wrap. Okay. And you choose a base, which is either scrambled chickpeas or tofu scramble. You can choose a cheese from cheddar, mozzarella, or feta, a sauce, which can be buffalo cream, spicy wing, queso, or ranch, a protein, or more than one protein, if you are so inclined, bacon, chorizo, sausage, steak, or chicken tenders, and then a wonderful list of veg, including avocado, broccoli, caramelized onions, carrots, greens, potatoes, red onions, roasted peppers, and tomato. Like, I'm just going, well, yeah, give me all of that.
You would say give me it all.
I would.
All the veg.
All the veg.
Yeah.
They also do a wonderful avocado toast that you can tailor to your particular tastes, and an eggy bun, which is a light, flaky biscuit pastry stuffed with tofu scrambled eggs, PMA bacon, and cheddar cheese.
Ooh. That would be good too.
On their brunch menu, they also have pancakes, biscuits and gravy, a brunch bowl, home fries, and the full brunch, which is 2 fluffy pancakes with fruit and whipped cream, a cheddar garlic biscuit with sausage gravy, and a side of home fries.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't flip it over. Because then I would have been like, I don't know what I want. Because there's so many really great breakfast and brunch offerings on that menu.
Yes. And of course, we can also attest to the fabulousness of the baked goods. Like I said, the lemon crinkle cookie is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The peach fritter is also pretty awesome, gotta say. And I'm so looking forward to the cherry pie cinnamon roll tomorrow.
Yeah. And Aurora's also has a little gift area in there. And Stephanie, who owns Aurora's, makes this beautiful jewelry.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like found object jewelry, and it's stunning. I was really appreciating a lot of her jewelry. I don't wear much jewelry, but I do like looking at it.
I'm the same way.
You know?
I don't wear it, but I love looking at it.
Yeah. They also have a small cooler or freezer there where you can buy. The PMA brand is a local vegan cheesery and vegan meatery, if that's a word. And you can also buy the cheeses and stuff to take home with you.
Awesome.
Which is great. Yeah. So if you're in Syracuse, check out Aurora's Cafe and Gifts. It's a cute little place run by some really great people, and their food is awesome.
Indeed.
It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout out goes to Susan Adolfson. We don't know much about Susan, but she recently subscribed to our YouTube channel. So thanks for listening, Susan.
And thanks for subscribing. Send us your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can text that information using the link in our show notes. Be sure to include your name on that. Or you can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com. And you can also DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, if you want a listener shout out, please email, text, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also nominate someone else for a shout out. And please keep in mind, this is different than sending your photos of your favorite vegan meal.
It is different.
This is different.
Yeah.
We are.
Unless you want to combine. You can do a combo. You can go, here is my vegan restaurant, and here
is my shout out.
Yeah.
request.
And I would also like to be included for a shout out.
There you go.
You know, if you want to feed 2 birds with 1 scone, so to speak.
Yes, I love feeding birds with scones.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
Yes. And so, but also because last year we had the Mies and Chef Knife giveaway at the end of the year, at the holiday season.
Yeah, I'm still trying to decide what this year's giveaway is.
And so we are trying to decide what this year's giveaway is going to be, but there will be a giveaway for anyone who puts their name in for a shout out.
Yeah, I think it might be a tofu prep kit, like a press and maybe some other tofu related
fun
articles.
All right. I like that.
Yeah. Send us that information because we want to shout you out.
We sure do.
And now it is time to wrap this baby up. But before we go, don't forget, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app, subscribe to our YouTube, and leave us a rating and a review if your app allows you to do that so that we can reach more great people like you. And do not forget to vote for us for the 2025 Veg News Veggie Awards. We'll put the link in the show notes.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 169 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion.
On the podcast. Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We really do. Bye-bye.
The end.
We'll talk to you next year.
We love you.
Next year?
Yeah, maybe not.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.